morning and welcome. This is FLOSSTUBE number 4 for Susan X Stitches here on FLOSSTUBE YouTube, and I am Susan X Stitches on Instagram. My name is Susan K, and I reside here in Spring Green, Wisconsin. It's a beautiful day here on Friday, May 16th, 2025. By the time you see this, it'll probably be Saturday, tomorrow. I have, some updates to share with you, I guess, today, and some things going on today, so I probably will not be able to get this uploaded yet today, or if it is, it's going to be later tonight. So it'll probably be, again, tomorrow, Saturday, May 17th, when you see this. So if you are new to my channel, I welcome you and hope that you will enjoy the content here. If you are not new, welcome back. I appreciate everyone's comments, everyone's liking and subscribing to the channel. And if you go down and hit the subscribe button, it will then notify you the next time I have a video posted. So today we have a few changes. You can see I'm in a new recording area in my home here in Spring Green. I have a new camera, so we've got some technology upgrades, and that allows me to not be tied to my iPhone, and therefore I feel like I'm a little bit more free to move around. So hopefully this is not too much light. I am in our guest bedroom here, and on the second level of our home. We live in a 1910 restored antique home here, and it's yeah, you can see it's a beautiful spring day. I think it's going to be in the 70s today. So yesterday was pretty warm. We had some severe weather last night, overnight, and late yesterday afternoon. So some tornadoes came through, and so if you're in that area, prayers, and hope that everybody is okay and safe. So I am filming here just because I believe that I'm going to have a better setup here, and maybe a little bit more relaxed. So hopefully it's not too washed out, and you'll be able to see on the camera good colors with all of the light that's coming in from both. I guess it's the east and, or I'm sorry, the south, and the end would be the east. So yeah. So anyways, again, welcome. All right. So we've had a lot of things going on since the last video, which was posted just over a month ago. I had my mother and I had my mother on, and thank you, Mom, for agreeing to come on and share some of your beautiful things with us. And yeah, that quilt, as everyone has spoken about, is a treasure, and we are. Yeah, I'd like to be able to show a few more pictures of it. So Mom's coming to Spring Green in a couple of weeks, and so I think she's going to bring it, and we're going to see if we can do some better filming of it. My significant other, Alan, is a photographer, and one of his hobbies, and so he's going to help us with that. I think he may not know it just yet, but we're going to let him know. So since I arrived back in Wisconsin, when I was down in Kansas with my mom, I was down and specifically went to see her, but it also happened to be or fall on a weekend where Stitch with Jackie, Comfort Stitcher, Jackie, here on FLOSSTUBE. She was hosting a Stitch with Jackie afternoon at a shop called Floraligium over in Weston, Missouri, and that shop was absolutely beautiful, and I encourage you all to go. And I think Jackie's planning to maybe do another one in what was she saying, maybe August, I think. So yeah, it would be nice to try to go. I met some dear people, and some dear, now I call dear friends, which I'll talk about through today's episode, and then just share a little bit more. But since I came back to Wisconsin, I had a real estate closing, which was good, and we hosted Alan's middle daughter, second daughter. She lives out in LA. We hosted her and her partner overnight for a stay here at our home, and she was in town for her sister's baby shower. So Alan's oldest daughter actually was pregnant, and we just had a baby this morning at, I think they said 1:59 a.m. We are not sure of baby's name just yet, but when we can share that, I will hopefully maybe have that information and be able to share just a quick picture of him. He's very sweet. He has a lot of dark hair, and yeah, this is Alan's firstborn grandchild, and so of course we're very excited, and we're very excited to get that little guy in our arms so that we can snuggle him up and share all the love with him. So we have a lot of hopes and dreams for him, I know, and he's got good parents and a great family to support. So anyways, congratulations to Mama and Daddy and baby. Then we had Easter, you know, right after the baby shower. So jumping back, I also started a little part-time job here. Actually, it's turning into more, more than part-time, which is what it's not exactly what I wanted, but anyways, here in the village of Spring Green with a vet clinic. And so that's been interesting. I've learned a lot about the, you know, goings on of vet clinics and just process flow and workflow, and it's, yeah, there's a lot going on any given day. It's a pretty crazy place, and you know, lots of people coming in with sick pets and also injured pets, which has just really broken my heart. But anyways, yeah, it's been a bit of a learning curve for me, and it's been a little bit of an eye-opener from the food industry to the pet healthcare. That's a little bit of a step. So, but anyways, it's been fun. It's my just yesterday was the end of my second week, so yeah, stay tuned. But we're doing great so far. I've also been plagued a little bit with some eye issues, and you know, it's still a little bit tenuous, but I think we maybe have turned a corner. I saw the neuro-ophthalmologist, I guess, last week, Tuesday. So it's been about now 10 days on this new medicine, and it seems to have greatly improved. So I'm very grateful for that, and that health of my eye, because as you know, eyesight is like the number one thing when you're trying to stitch some of these really tiny little holes in these beautiful high count linens. And so I haven't done as much stitching this month as I had liked, but never fear, I've gotten a lot of projects kitted, and then I've also been spending a fair bit of time you know, not using my eye, or trying not to use my eye in a way that would hurt it, but by scanning some of my charts that I want to start using Markup XP. And so I've been scanning the charts so that I can get that into Markup XP. I met Danny, a new stitching friend from Alabama, while I was at the Stitch with Jackie, and she and I have been chatting quite a bit, and I have really, I guess, fallen in love with Danny. She's a very sweet person, and my goodness, does she have some beautiful stitches. So, beautiful stitches, and she's a prolific stitcher. So her goal is about 1,000 stitches a day, and so she was telling me that she last year stitched about 352,000 stitches. So that's a lot of little tiny X's, and a lot of, you know, finishes. So she's really almost my new hero, I think. But she's such a, I don't know, she's a very sweet person, and I'm very dear-hearted, so I'm very grateful to have met her. And yeah, and we're trying to plan, she's going to like a retreat or something down in I think Swanee, Tennessee, with the Quilters Guild down there, and in October, I think it is. And so we are trying to maybe plan for me to be able to join her on that. So that would be a lot of fun. So I'm working on it, Danny, and we'll keep it on the radar here, and hopefully we can get that done. But I can share more about that later as that progresses. So even though I have had some eye issues, I have been trying to put in a few stitches here and there. But again, what you're going to see today is about 3 WIPs that I've worked on, 4 WIPs, 1 with a finish, so a finish, not fully finished yet, and then 3 WIPs, and then I have some plans, and I have some haul to share with you. So I guess without further ado, let's move into it. So my first project that I want to share with you is, and you saw this on my very first floss tube. So this is now May, middle of May, and I believe my first floss tube was in March. So this is 3 months in, episode number 4. And I've had 1 episode of My Favorite Tools, so a little bit of a floss tube extra. So this is actually my 5th video overall, but my 4th floss tube. So anyways, on my first, the WIP parade that I shared with you, I shared that I had started All Joys for Thine by Blackbird Designs. And when I was looking through my projects on what would be good, what I thought would be good to take to the Stitch with Jackie to work on, and what I thought I could get some stitching done on, which was a joke because I literally put in 4 stitches that day. But when I looked at it, I was like, I need to continue on this guy, and I didn't have very much done at that point. I just really had this this border, just the single line border going around. That's a little wavy there, but I didn't have any of the flowers put in. Maybe a couple, but not many. And so I looked at it, and that's what I decided I was wanting to stitch that day. And so I took it, and then that weekend when I was with Mom, I continued to stitch on it, and then I was just like committed to it because it just came to life, and it became so beautiful to me and to my eye. And so yeah, so here we go. We have All Joys for Thine. I have made some changes. I hope you can see this all right. But I've made some changes to it. I decided to use my grandmother's name. So my grandmother who made the quilt, Margaret J. Wilson, that was her maiden name. She was born in 1910, so you can see that I recharted the Margaret J. Wilson and recharted the 1910, and then I added my mother and I's initials. Let's see where they are. They are right up here. So SK for me and Susan K, and then my little 1/1. I hope that's focusing. 1974, so I did some 1/1 stitching, and then the same for my mother, J.H. Her maiden name was Huck, and then her birth year 1949. And so yeah, overall I am really pleased with the finish, and I'm really excited. I have an appointment with the framer on Monday, and we are going to select a frame and get that process started. So soon I'll have an FFO to share with you on this, which is All Joys for Thine, Blackbird Designs. I stitched using called for colors, but I think the linen, I know the linen changed. It is now, or I stitched it on baked clay. 40 count by Fox and Rabbit. So 40 count baked clay, Fox and Rabbit. It's just a really beautiful model. There's some darkness to it that you can kind of maybe see on the camera, hopefully. A little bit of modeling, but it's very subtle, and overall a little gray background, kind of grayish, but beautiful tan, beautiful sampler color. If you're looking and haven't seen it in person, you will not be disappointed with it. Fox and Rabbit linen is very nice, and this was really nice to stitch. So I also did I know there's a website, and I'll find it and link it, but someone has kind of compiled all of maybe some charting errors for Blackbird, and I failed to look at that before I started stitching some of these motifs. And so some of these motifs didn't, when I was like going back and forth between what was charted and then looking at the front cover, some of these motifs were like, oh no, that's not what's charted at all. And so I ended up taking some creative liberty, especially on these trees. So those are not supposed to be solid, but they are now solid. And so one is green on the inside, and then one is green and pink. Hopefully, again, you're able to see that. And then what else? I think maybe that was it. But I love it. Blackbird again is possibly one of my favorite designers. Just so pretty. The colors are so classic and so I don't know. These are really soft and subtle and make me smile. So these are right up my alley. So anyways, Blackbird Designs, All Joys for Thine, that I've recharted to include some family names and some family initials and dates. So, okay, that's my finish that I have to share. Yeah, again, going to see the framer on Monday, and we're gonna get that one selected for get it picked out, get it framed, picked out for it. So so that'll be nice. Okay, so now we're going to move on to, I think we'll move on to I am a member, or I'm leading a Stitch Along, and I have to just say, if any of my Stitch Along ladies are watching, or friends are watching, I have been like the worst Stitch Along leader ever, possibly. I am so far behind on my Maureen Appleton The Heart's Content stitching. And it's 1/1 on silk gauze, and I have really, as I've probably for the last, I don't know, it's been about 2.5 or 3 months since I've been struggling with my eyes this last time, and so I was very, very much struggled with seeing that stitching, and so I haven't put any stitches in. So again, I apologize. I wish that I could see it a little bit better and feel more confident when putting it in. I think what I need to do is plan that type of stitching, like first thing in the morning when there is very good light, and then be able to to move forward accordingly. But it's been a struggle with that, and so I apologize. The second Stitch Along that I joined was 2025 Let Freedom Ring, Leela's Studio. I don't have it with me up here today to show, but Leela's Studio, and it's on Facebook. Let Freedom Ring, SAL 2025, if you'd like to join. It is a beautiful chart of Independence Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I'm excited to keep working on it. I just, again, haven't because of my eyesight, and I prioritized a couple of other things ahead of that. So, but I need to get on it because I really do want it to be hanging by the time 2026 comes around. So it's for July 4th, 2026. So anyways, again, those are just plans. My third Stitch Along that I am a member of is called One Stitch at a Time, or it's actually, I think it's Across the Pond Facebook group, Across the Pond, and you can join it on Facebook. But they are stitching. I think Somi Sarah is one of the leaders, and then the lady that owns Swan Bay Fabrics out of the UK, and I believe the third person is called Tiny Stitcher. The Tiny Stitcher, again, I will verify those names for you just to make sure that I'm saying it correctly, and you can access it if you're interested. But One Stitch at a Time by Lottie Daw is the chart that they have selected to break apart, or to, I'm not guessing break apart, but break down into segments, and then giving us stitching assignments. And so we are on May, and May's assignment is the beautiful house in the middle, and so I am stitching. So I'm up to date, I guess. We're about the middle of May, and I'm about the middle of the house. So the house was the assignment for the month, but I am stitching this on 46 count wheat by Fiber on a Whim, and I am using called for colors with the exception of the house. So I did a conversion on the house. I think the house was supposed to be, I don't know if it's showing, but this gray color of this know, this tree or this little flower stem here, gray. And I think it's called, let's see, let's get you a name so that I'm not just guessing here what it's called. It's called, I think, Graphite by Weeks Dye Works. And so Graphite by Weeks, and that's the color it's supposed to be. So it's a nice gray color, but I have brightened up the house a little bit, and I have selected Puritan Blue, which is a silk, Belle Soie silk by Classic Colorworks, and so I'm using this Belle Soie Classic Colorworks blue. Puritan blue. It's really, really beautiful, and it is turning out to be exceptionally beautiful here in real life. And so just kind of brightens it up a little bit, I feel, and gives it another dimension. So I will put this on my board here so you can kind of see it maybe a little bit better. I was hoping not to have to use the board today, but I think I'm going to, just because I think I'm doing not a good job of holding it. Again, you know, all this new technology with the camera update and things that we're updating, I really do like the top-down camera idea, but I hadn't taken time to figure out how to do that totally with this camera yet. So again, maybe that will be the next episode, but right now we are just going to hold up, and you can see Beautiful Things Come Together One Stitch at a Time by Lottie Daw. Again, basically called for colors except for my house color, the main house color there, which is now Puritan Blue by Classic Colorworks, Belle Soie. And then also the other change that I've made, I haven't done it yet because I am stitching this in a hoop, so I don't want to mess up my stitches too much. But I am adding inside of each of these flower pods, these round circle pink pods, they have a stitch of a different color. I'm going to add those and make those a French knot. And then each of my birds are going to have French knot eyes. And I did one French knot on that little bird there just to see if I would like it. I think I do. I think he's adorable. So the birds will have eyes, and the little flowers will have that. I also added, there were two initials over here. I added just a single initial and K, and I did it 1/1 on this 46 count. So it's in a Vera Soie 103 silk that I used. So anyways, I'm up to date, I'm proud to say, on this one, but I still have, before the end of the month, I need to get the rest of the house done, and then we'll have this kind of a mirrored motif on this side, and then there's a border along the bottom, as you probably saw from the chart, so the chart picture. So yeah. Anyways, it's just a very sweet design. Not very many stitches. Could totally do this, you know, without the stitch along. But I've never done a stitch along, and so until actually this was my first stitch along. So I really wanted to be committed to it and keep trying it and make sure that I can stay. So it's not overwhelming. The one that is the Let Freedom Ring stitch along, we're getting weekly assignments on that. Also not overwhelming per se, but it's a big chart, and so and I think it's like a year and a half of stitching, so it's a lot different than something that you have a monthly assignment, and that monthly assignment is a few stitches, so a few hundred or 1,000 stitches or so. But anyways, that's my progress on One Stitch at a Time, Lottie Daw, and the Across the Pond Facebook group. They do have a Zoom that they meet. I think it's the second Saturday. You do have to sign up for it and get like a ticket. And the reason I think they do that is so they can get through and make sure that everyone gets a chance to meet everybody, which I think is brilliant, because some of these Zooms can get to be really big and out of control in terms of number of people, and you don't get a chance to either share or really see everybody's work. So yeah, so I think they're doing a good job. I love the chart, and I'm up to date, and I'm very excited about that. I'm going to bend over just 1 second. My next project here, it has, you know, taken a fall, as these projects tend to do, because nothing is easily stacked in this world of FLOSSTUBE. Okay, so now we're into the month of May, and in May there is a thing, you may have seen it on social media, probably more on Instagram than on Facebook, but maybe also a little bit on Facebook, and it's called MAYnia, MAYNIA, so MAYNIA, capital MAY. So the thought was that in May you stitch a lot, or you do a lot of starts, and so that's basically, I've decided to do 2 starts in the month of May, because I have a 3rd start for my birthday that I want to start, and so I will actually have 3 starts, but 1 will be my birthday start, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So okay, so my first Mania, which in this case I think Stitch and Jim, and that's at Stitch and Jim, which I'll tag her down below as well. She had put together like a market Mania idea, and the idea was that you pick something from the 2025 market, or really any market release, and stitch it. And so this one is part of the Market Mania, I guess a Stitch Along or something, but anyways, just group, I guess. And really it's not a group, it's just a hashtag on Instagram. But this was my start. And this is a French Rose Marie Vallet by Running with Needle and Scissors. Just a very elegant pink and ivory chart. It's very, very beautiful and very delicate. And so this was released at market in 2025. I'm sure you've seen it. There's a lot of people that either are stitching it. I think Hobbies of Holly is stitching it also for Market Mania. Prairie Stitcher 515, she just finished hers. Contented Needlework Kim finished hers. And so anyways, I started this I think May 1st, and in fact I know it was May 1st, and so let's see my progress here. I do have some of the, so it calls for 46 count small potatoes by Lapin Loops, and then Flamingo Silk by Gloriana Silk. I do have some of the Flamingo pink silk threads, but I decided to switch it up a little bit, because I decided to save it when I figured out it was so hard to come by. I didn't want to inadvertently use it for this and then not have it for something that I really wanted it for. So I quickly started searching for a solution to you know, our solution, but a substitute, I guess, for this, and I found this beautiful, again, I'm in love with Belle Soie's classic colorwork silk, so you're going to see that a lot in all of my, the next product that I really, really love are James of the Needle linen, and so this is actually a marriage of both, and so where I'm at, and again, let's see if we can get you to be able to see it. I am just a little bit on about half of the alphabet, half of the side border there, and then so I need to still follow along across with the alphabet and then go down the side, and then there's the I think 3 baskets of flowers across the bottom. One is bigger in the center here, and then there's a couple of little birds. Each of the borders on the sides are different stitchings, different pattern, and so but anyways, so my color conversion here is I am using okay, so now I'm on this new camera and I can't totally see what I've got going on here, but I'm going to stick with what I've got here, and anyways, hopefully you all can see it in you know, in real life here. or in real time here. Whenever you see it on the video, it looks okay. But anyways, I'm using Unwashed Eggshell by Dames of the Needle, and it's a 46 count linen. So you can see that it's a pretty small little tight woven. I just really I love the way she dyes. I love the feel of it. And I love the colors that she comes up with. They're not overly modeled per se. They're subtle, but there's definitely modeling. But it just makes a very beautiful finished product. And then I selected what is called Angel Blush. Hang it over here for a minute if I can, and maybe have an extra hand here. So Belle Angel Blush, Classic Colorworks, and it's just a very soft pink, and so when you pull one thread or one strand of the silk, you know, you kind of get a little bit of a tone on tone with this linen, which I am not upset about. I think it is absolutely beautiful, and I think in the end I am really going to love it. When I first put it on, I was a little bit unsure if it was dark enough to show up, but I have since come to love it, and I've been I'm going to start doing some fussy cutting in terms of you know, where I want, because there is a lot of, these are overdyed silks, and so there are some variation or variegation within those strands or those skeins, and so I want to be able to, you know, see some of them and make them a little bit more, I guess some are subtle and some are going to be more noticeable. So that's where I'm at. I've got Marie, and then there's, you know, of course her name, and then more border, and then three flower baskets that I have to stitch yet. So this was my first start for Market Mania. A French Rose Marie Vallet, running with needles and scissors, and 46 count Dames of the Needle, Unwashed Eggshell, and Gloriana silk, Belle silk in the color Angel Blush. And very, you know, very tone on tone, but and subtle, but also, oh, so beautiful, so beautiful. Okay, I will now move on to my next project here, and this is the final project that I worked on in the last just month, I guess. So again, it was a tough month with my eye, so I appreciate all of your grace that you're giving me with that. But it was wild. It has been a wild experience. So. Okay, so my next one is not a market release. This is just one that I would like to have on my wall for Halloween and fall. And this is a Blackbird. So I finished a Blackbird. I like to have a Blackbird going. And so my next Blackbird that I wanted to start was Away We Ride, Blackbird Designs. And this one I know has been out for a while. Yeah, 2013. It has a copyright date on, so you are maybe familiar with it, but it's adorable. Away we ride till it's dark as pitch to find the home of the Wicked Witch. And there's 3 crows or 3 blackbirds, a sweet house. There's a couple of flower motifs and a tree. Beautiful borders, words, and then in beautiful Blackbird design tones. So when I first saw this chart, I immediately thought of Murky by Picture This Plus linen, and that was what I was going to use. That was going to be my selection. So heavily modeled and darker. And you know, the more I looked at it, the more I thought about the flosses that I was going to put on it. I just was a little bit concerned with, you know, with some of it just kind of blending in and not showing with all of the heavy modeling. And so I have since decided to start looking for an alternative to this Murky linen that I had purchased. So the alternative is a beautiful piece of linen, and again, I encourage you to go check them out if you have not. This is my first order that I had placed with them, my first time stitching on their linen, and I cannot be more, you know, more pleased with what it is. I mean, it's beautiful linen, and I think you will agree here whenever I get it situated properly on my board. Again, the top-down camera is just so nice to be able to slide it over, and then I don't have to fumble with it so much and make it probably driving you crazy as you're watching me fumble. But okay, so this is number 12 Stitch Co. They are a linen fabric dyeing company out of Australia, and Brenda and the Serial Starter talk about number 12 Stitch Co. a bit, and I again had never had it. You need to order direct from them. There may be some places here in the U.S. some shops that carry them. I'm not sure, but I ordered direct, and it came in time for Mania, and so I decided to get this started so that I could have it finished. So Away We Ride. Blackbird Designs is now being stitched on number 12 Stitch Co. 46 count called Decrepit. And hopefully you're able to see it is a nice, basically kind of a gray natural linen color, but within that it's got some yellow and some black, and I don't know if it's showing, but if it's not, you should go check it out online. The pictures do on Etsy, where you order from. The pictures do show a pretty good representation of what it is in real life. But you can see I've got some of the border, and then I have Away done so that you could kind of get an idea. I think it was Garden Gate, and I think that is a classic Colorworks or a sampler thread, Gentle Arts. Sorry, Sampler Threads, Gentle Arts. Color called Garden Gate. It's really hard to find. I did not have any. I was not able to find it in my initial search, and so I made a switch to Wood Trail, and so I believe that's correct. Let me verify that real quick. Yes, Wood Trail is my color conversion here. So the border. So this is two colors. So one is called. So far, there's only two colors on there, and the two colors are Onyx. So this is Onyx. Let's see. Onyx, and you can see the dark. It's, you know, black almost, or dark gray. You can see that. And then the second color is what I changed up for Garden Gate, and it's now Wood Trail. And it's kind of a green-gray kind of color. I think it's turning out very, very pretty, and I think it's a great match. So if you're looking for a solution to Garden Gate, Wood Trail, the Gentle Arts Company Sampler Threads is a good match, or is a good substitution. I guess match is not a good word, but substitution is a better word. So anyways, but these colors that are called for are really, really beautiful. Gentle Arts, and so there's a gold, kind of an old gold. There is of course a mulberry, a red. That's not used very much, but it's really, really pretty. Brenda Gervais uses that mulberry in some of her charts. There's Brandy, which is the Gentle Arts. These are all Gentle Arts actually, but Brandy, kind of a nice golden yellow. Onyx, which we've talked about. Maple Syrup, a beautiful brown. Wood Smoke, we talked about. We did not talk about Wood Smoke. Wood Smoke, also kind of a gray, tan, brown kind of tones. Very pretty. Pecan Pie, Wood Rose, which is a lovely, lovely, lovely pink shade of kind of a pink orange. And then an orange called Pumpkin Pie, which is a very good description for that shade. Wood Trail we talked about, and that's it. So, but anyways, so very pretty colors that will be coming to life on this on this fabric called Decrepit 46 count by number 12 Stitch Co. And again, Away We Ride, Blackbird Designs. So excited to have this, and hopefully I'll get this done over the summer so it can be framed for Halloween and the fall. Oh, I love it. And I love the saying, away we ride till it's dark as pitch to find the home of the Wicked Witch. I think that it just rhymes, and in my head, I just say it all the time as I'm stitching. Away we ride. Like, it just runs through my head kind of silly and obsessively, but I think it's just got a tone or a ring to it that I like, and so it sticks with me. But anyways, Blackbird Designs is my second start for the Mania. Okay, so now I have to share with you some plans. I'm going to talk. Well, I'm going to show my birthday start real quick and talk about that for a minute, and then we're going to move into some haul. And so, if you're a person that's not into the haul, feel free to sign off. But I personally. There's a nice balance of the haul, and there's in terms of like I think the way that it's presented, and so I'm hoping that it doesn't come across as look at all these things that I have and you don't. That's not at all what I'm hoping to portray with any of these with any of my stitching. So. If I get to be that point, I hope someone will be like, yeah, Susan, you need to check yourself, because that's not at all what this is. So these are just things that I have the means to have, and whether I have the means or not, I don't really know, but I have them, and things that I just enjoy, and so I have spent some of my resources collecting them. So not right or wrong, just the way it is. And so that's what I'll say about haul. There's, of course, I go in spurts with it. There's sometimes where there's a lot, and then there's going to be sometimes where there's not as much. And this time I have been collecting a few things over the last, really since I started. I've shared a little bit of stash acquisitions with you, but not a ton. And so this time I've kind of have collected a few more things over the last 6 to 8 weeks that I just want to share. And because I learned about it, I would like to share it, and because they're beautiful, and I think you'll also agree. So the first thing, though, is my birthday start. So my birthday, May 21st, 1974, so I'll be 51 next Wednesday. And I have been searching for a little while about to try to find the best birthday, I guess, stitch along, or not stitch along, but best birthday start that I could. And the first one that I found was BG 1874. This is Samplers Not Forgotten is the designer. And BG 1874, I thought, okay, she doesn't have a name, so we'll just call her Birthday Girl. And 1874 is 100 years, before I was born, and so I thought that was sweet. And then Samplers Not Forgotten. So Samplers Not Forgotten, she has charted this beautiful sampler and reproduction, and it seems fairly straightforward. It's a big one in terms of width, and it's a big one in terms of what you need to do. So to actually finalize this or finish this. And so it's a little bit maybe a little more advanced, maybe, I don't know. I took it down to Country Sampler here in Spring Green, and I called first, and I was like, yeah, can someone help me pick out some linen? And they were like, yeah, sure, come on down, Susan. So I showed up, and I had all of this. I had collected the called for silks, which again are beautiful. our beautiful Belle Soie. There's some Gloriana, and then there's also some NPI. So three different silk, three different silk brands here going on. But you can see just, you know, the beautiful colors, the vibrancy, and the shades. So we go from, you know, purple and yellow and green and pink and, you know, a kind of a stone color or white, to these gorgeous golds, and then into the dark, you know, darker kind of, you know, the burgundy and the navy, and then also some black Gloriana. Which I believe is actually called, what is it called? Antique black. It's got some brown and some black in it. It's so pretty. So these are all over dyed silks. And then the NPIs are, I have them in a bag because they come on a skein with a, you know, not necessarily hanging on a drop. So they come in a skein that you need to cut and put onto a drop. So I need to do that yet. But they are not over dyed. NPIs are not over dyed, so they are solid colors and gorgeous to work with. And anyway, so I took my ring down, my floss ring, and I had some ideas for linen, and it called for a 36 count. And I, you know, of course, stitch, you know, 46 or 56. You know, 46 is probably my preferred size, but I took it, and then once I started reading the instructions on what you needed to do to actually complete this, I was like, there may be a reason that 36 count was called for, and so I did select a 36 count. And it is called Pyrite by Cedar River. It is a beautiful color of kind of a, I'm going to call it a caramel brown. It's yeah, I don't know. It's got some modeling, some subtle modeling, but it's kind of a caramely kind of gold color. And it is a beautiful cut of linen. It's a half yard to do this, and I did buy a little bit more because the thing that you do is you measure in, and you have, there are threads of linen that are pulled out and removed, and then you reweave in strands of the beautiful silk colors in 5, I think, or 7 locations on this chart. And so the first one, there's one at the very top. I think there's 3 in the middle, maybe 2 at the top, actually 3 in the middle and 2 at the bottom. So 7 places, 7 different pulls. So you need to pull the linen, and then you take a very long piece of silk and you reweave over and under on your linen to make a new color of, you know, a bar across the top. Very difficult to see there, but I think maybe that picture right there will show you that first bar on the top. And so you start there, and you pull your thread, you do your reweaving of your silk. So in this case, my picture, my finished project will be about 26 or 27 inches. So I need to have a long skein of silk to go all the way across, and only one skein is what they say to do it. And then you do some alphabet, and then you pull some more strands down here, and then do that reweaving all the way across, and then do the rest of this down below here on the left side of the bar, and then do the bottom pulling, and then you come back over here and you stitch these motifs, and this crown in the center here, and then finally you stitch down this center bar, and that center bar kind of ties it all together and keeps everything secure and in place for your reweaving that you've done. In any event, I said to Linda down at Country Sampler, I said, Linda, do you think I'm smart enough to actually be able to do this? And she's like, yes, I do. She's like, but I think if you do select a higher count, I think it is going to be more difficult. And so that's where we decided that the called for would probably be, or you know, the called for count would probably be ideal. So then I reached out to my friend Heidi, and I was like, Heidi, have you seen this? And she's like, I haven't started. And I'm like, of course you do. Heidi of Whips and Kits has all of the things kitted and all of the things started, and her work is very beautiful. If you're not following Heidi, you should. I will post a link to her And so I think she's gonna stitch a little bit more with me, and she said, oh, you've encouraged me to bring mine out again. So and then my new friend Danny from Alabama, she has the chart, and she is acquiring or picking out her linen and her threads that she's going to use, and she's going to start along with me as well. So yeah, I'm excited. Danny will be done with hers in about, I don't know, it'll probably take her maybe, I'm kind of being a little bit exaggerating a little bit, but I mean, at 1,000 stitches a day, and maybe there's 40,000 or 50,000 stitches in this, it's going to take her 40 or 50 days. So a month and a half, she'll be done. She'll be able to show us exactly what it's supposed to look like. I'll still be probably pulling the first strand here and trying to reweave and probably questioning all of my life's decisions at that point. But anyways, that's where we're at. So BG 1874, excited to see this come to life. It is beautiful linen, beautiful silks, and I will be 51 next Wednesday. So the next floss tube, we'll have an update. See how far Susan got on that. Okay, so yeah, let's just keep going here. The next part is, is what would maybe be considered between a combination of haul and plans. So probably plans at this point. One thing that I mentioned in my FLOSSTUBE Extra, which was my favorite tools, was I had the Thready Made boxes, and that was what I was using to store my 103s or my Soie Gobelin spools in, and I had seen that Brenda and Laura had also mentioned these like silicone pods, and I wasn't sure. I hadn't done my research to find out exactly where it came from or who the supplier was, but I have since, a very sweet viewer and follower, I hope, commented that they were called spool pods, and they were by Pattern Trace, and you could order them on Etsy. And they were from the UK, and so I went right away over to Etsy and found them and ordered them. They were the shipping is a little bit high, so it kind of makes sense to order, more than one. There's 10 spots in here, so I think I ordered 5 or 6 just to kind of help offset the shipping, because I was going to do it, and I was sure I was going to find it, that it was really nice. And it is super nice because you can just turn them upside down and really control, where these spools land. So if you drop one or drop this, it's not going to fly all over and run underneath your sofa, and you have to be on your hands and knees fighting your Yorkies to try to find it first. But anyway, Spool Pod, Pattern Trace, that's the manufacturer, and also who supplies it on Etsy. Very, very, very prompt response, quick shipping. Can't say enough about that. Okay, so that was one item. The next item was, and I do not speak any other language other than English, so I can try to kind of work my way through here, but it will be laughable, so I'm gonna try not to do that for us. But Home is Where the Heart Is, by this Historique Stickmuster designer, and I saw this. I believe this is a chart that is new for the year 2025. I saw this on Etsy, and I think it was Etsy. Maybe, actually, I think I saw it on Instagram first. I think on the Historique Stickmuster, I think they had posted something, and I was like, oh, I have to have that. How do I get that? One thing about me is hearts and pinks and reds, and those are just my colors. I mean, I think they're very, very beautiful, and hearts. The greatest of these is love. Really has always been a special saying between my dad and I, in terms of my father, who passed away about 3 years ago. He was always, and the greatest of these is love, Susan. So love first, and so that when I saw all of these hearts, it just really just really resonated with me. So home is where the heart is. There's a full alphabet in there that allows you to rechart the words if you're not into home is where the heart is. But it's a Quaker with all of these beautiful heart motifs and charted in a very beautiful color palette range of, you know, dark burgundy all the way down to pale pink, and then finally a taupey kind of beige color. And so I ordered up the Soie Gobelins. So Katie Strachan, I've been watching a lot of her videos, and Katie talks about how great it is to stitch on, or to stitch with Soie Gobelins using the legacy linen, and I really like legacy linen. I used to stitch in hand prior to, like, you know, I don't know, 3 months ago was stitching in hand was my thing. But some of these linens, as you get into the higher counts, they're not as firm, so they don't have the body or the structure to them, and so they're floppy, they're soft. That's fine, and that's great. They have a great hand feel, but if you are a stitching in hand person, legacy linen is nice to stitch with. And so even though it's a higher count, because it has the structure, you can still manage it. But anyways, I selected some legacy linen, and this is, I think, called Bride Cake. Bride Cake, and I'm going to stitch this. I'm going to start this Home is Where the Heart Is with Bride Cake 38 count legacy linen using the Soie Gobelin color conversion from Historique Stickmuster, a German designer. So anyways, that's the plans for that chart, and a new to me. The Soie Gobelins I've not stitched with. Very excited to. Legacy linen I have stitched on, and I do enjoy it. So Soie Gobelins with my new spool pods will be nice. So that's another start that I have coming up. I also did not take this out of the wrap, but probably should have. I hope it doesn't show too much. But this is the Scarlet House Eleanor Roberts. It was an exclusive for the Hobby House, and it I think it was maybe, I don't know, February. Maybe they had the ordering of it, and so it was before market, I believe, and so. Anyways, it actually shipped and arrived in the last few weeks, and so I wanted to share that. I'm excited. It's a 46 count. It came with 46 count Dolly Madison by Needle and Flax, and then it also came with the MPI silks. So beautiful chart and beautiful colors. They're very soft and pastel. So the Scarlet House Eleanor Roberts, a Hobby House exclusive. Okay, and then I'm going to go through a few pieces of linen here that I have next. So hoop and frame, when I ordered my bride cake linen for Home is Where the Heart Is, legacy linen, I decided to go ahead and order a couple more pieces of one more piece of legacy, and that is the Himalayan Fog 38 count. It is I did order a half yard, so Himalayan Fog is kind of just a nice, I guess, kind of a gray, kind of taupey color, but warm undertones. So some red undertones maybe, and it's really, really beautiful. It's not a cool color, it's more warm, but beautiful, and a fat half of that. And then because nothing can travel alone, and nothing can travel alone from Hobby House to Spring Green either. And so I also ordered some linen from them, and I ordered this is a fat quarter of Seraphim, and it's a 46 count prairie grass. Also kind of a dark, some subtle modeling, and some black undertones, so gray undertones, and also kind of got some pink undertone to it. So, but anyways, called Prairie Grass Linen by Seraphim, 46 count. When I talked earlier, I spoke about ordering from number 12 Stitch Co. Definitely nothing can travel alone from Australia. So number 12 Stitch Co. I ordered up 46 count Antiquity, and it is a very lovely cream color, neutral, very good sampler color, and I'm very pleased with that linen. It's beautiful, and excited to stitch something good on that. Hopefully it will be equally as beautiful as the linen. I know it will be. And then Regency Gold, I have a project that I have in mind for this one. And again, I'll show you the label here. Number 12 Stitch Co. You can find them on Etsy. And then this one again is called Regency Gold. But this I have a couple of Anne Gott Needlework Press, I think it's 1848. Anne Gott. Anyways, it calls, I think, for maybe straw. No, I think it's straw, Weeks Dye Works, and I think this will be a great substitute to straw, Weeks Dye Works, in that chart. So I have that kitted in 103s, and I want to start that sooner rather than later also. Anyways, that I ordered. And then we talked about the Decrepit already from number 12 Stitch Co. that I'm stitching Away We Ride on. And then again, probably if I have to select a favorite linen, Dames of the Needle is really probably my favorite. I have had such great experience just interacting via email with Elizabeth, the owner and dyer, and she's just been incredibly willing to, to get you what you need and to do it in a prompt fashion and manner. And so New England Bog, I ordered, it's a beautiful kind of a washed out cranberry color, I would say, or a cranberry that's been washed. And I spent some time in Boston for about 8 years and living near the cranberry bogs, and so New England Bog really resonated with me in terms of the name, but the color pink is my favorite color, and so this is just a gorgeous kind of faded cranberry color. And I have some plans for this linen, so I think watch in the next, probably in the next episode of FLOSSTUBE, you're going to see how that worked out and what we did with that. Okay, then one of my unicorn charts was Blackbird Designs, America the Beautiful, and I was able to pick that up on the secondary market, eBay. Definitely paid too much for it, but I wanted it, and now we have it. So it's really, I think again, that's probably going to be one of the next Blackbirds that I start. Or my mother will start. She also is in love with this chart, and so maybe Mom will do it. But anyways, America the Beautiful, that flag, look at that flag, oh my goodness, and those letters and that rose, just really, really sweet. Excited to start that. I am a member of the Fat Quarter Shop Belle Soie club, monthly club, where you sign up for the club and you then receive three Belle Soie colors for the month that Classic Colorworks releases. Again, Belle Soie is one of my favorite silks. It's just so supple and so lush, and any over-dyed silks, it's easier to come by than Gloriana, but it's beautiful, and I'm excited to every month when I get my kits, or when I get my shipment. So 3 skeins each month, and it's Sun-Drenched Violet. Sun-Drenched Violets. Number 2 is Petunia. Number 3 is called Cobblestone. Very, very pretty colors. I do not have my May one yet, so this was April. So I'm sure May is coming soon. I think I may have seen a shipping notice on that. So So that's good. Okay, another one that I will be starting sooner rather than later also is called Elizabeth J.M. Mayer's 1833. I had this this chart, and I fell in love with that giant white house, and then the little baskets of strawberries, blueberries, or strawberries, plums, oranges, cherries, and it says the front view of Anne Castle, Roseshire, England, and then there's her name across the top, J.M. Elizabeth J.M. Mears, I guess work June 8, 1833, and then a beautiful alphabet with different, I think, specialty stitches, those beautiful baskets of the fruits, and then the beautiful giant white house, and then the white picket fence along the bottom with those flower motifs. Very, very pretty. So for that, I am using, I think that buttercream, Lakeside Linen Buttercream was called for, and I have converted it to a piece of Lakeside Linen Light Exemplar, and so I'm going to use that. It does have kind of some peachy, kind of warm undertones, but it also has some browns in it. And it's the call for colors on this were NPI silks, and so I have that kitted using NPI silks, and I always put them into these bags, so that's where we're at. It doesn't show up very well, but once I get it stitched and start stitching on this beautiful piece of linen, you're going to see it again come to life, and it will be lovely. So that's a plan that I have to start yet this summer, and then finally. A plan that I have, so when I was at Country Sampler, I saw this this chart. I don't believe had it on the wall, but had a model of it, but I saw it and I fell in love. So a Fair Lady Sampler, GGR. I believe my friends Susie Runs with Needles and Jody's Stitching Adventure. I think those two Texas friends, Texas Stitchers, are going to be starting a GGR SAL on June 1st, and I thought maybe I could join in on that because, I'm doing so well on my other Stitch Along, so why not join another? I say that with a lot of sarcasm and tongue-in-cheek. But anyways, so June 1st, I think I will be starting this one. And it is a combination, I'm using a combination of called for, let's see, so Weeks, Gentle Arts, and DMC, and those colors will look like that. I'm using a piece of 45 count legacy linen called Millet. Is it called Millet? Fox Millet, Foxtail Millet, Fox. I can't remember. One moment, one moment while I find my tag on here somewhere. Yeah, okay, 45 count Foxtail Millet legacy linen, and so it's just a beautiful kind of goldish neutral color, good sampler color, and then those really beautiful, some vibrant, some pastel, overdyed, and DMC, so overdyed cotton and DMC, so a cotton conversion, but that is a Fair Lady sampler. I just really, I don't know what it was, but I fell in love with the Fair Ladies. I thought that was very, I thought they were very sweet. So Jody's Stitching Adventure and Susie Runs with Needles. And I think maybe Helen, is it Hutchin? On Instagram as well, is also the host. So yeah, you can go and check that out. I'll post a little link below. Let me just check real quick on my list and make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, I will also, one thing that is coming up for Mom and I, just to quickly mention, we will be going to Country Sampler's summer stitch camp in early June. So if you will be there, we are excited. I hope if you see me, I hope you'll say hello to me, introduce yourself. I'd love to meet you. But I know Heidi Whips and Kits is going to be there, and Prairie Stitcher 515 I think will also be there. So we are excited to just meet up and do some stitching and see what the three designers. So the three designers are Vicki Jeanette, Needlework Press, Kathleen Littleton of Cross Stitch Antiques, and then Stacy Nash. So I saw a sneak peek that Vicki posted on her Needlework Press account. I think it was on Facebook, of the sampler that will be for Stitch Camp, and it's really pretty. So I'm excited to see it all. But I haven't seen any sneaks from Kathleen Littleton or Stacy Nash. So, anyways. Then I think the final thing that I would mention, one person on FLOSSTUBE that is a new FLOSSTuber that I would like to mention is Rainy Ann Stitching. She's on FLOSSTUBE and Instagram as Rainy Ann, and that's RAINEYANN Stitching. She's a longtime stitcher, and I think lives out in Idaho, and I think she just posted her second FLOSSTUBE. So yeah, go give her a follow. I think she's going to be, I think what I kind of learned from the last FLOSSTUBE was she was going to be maybe making some project bags. So she'll be one to watch, and maybe get one of her one of her project bags in your collection. So. Okay, I think that's it. Again, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you subscribing, liking, and commenting. I do respond to everyone. And yeah, have a great next month. I'll try to be back probably right after Stitch Camp, just to share a little bit more of that. So that's early June. So maybe 3 or 4 weeks again. We'll see you again. All right. Until next time, sending all my love, happy stitching, keep crossing all, one beautiful stitch at a time. Keep crossing those stitches making those stitches and making your X's, and your projects will get done. So all my love. Bye-bye. Keep crossing those stitches making those stitches and making your X's, and your projects will get done. So all my love. Bye-bye.